Hi guys, I'm the Dao King, and today we have the guys from Kyoto Protocol. And this protocol, if you guys don't know, basically sold out in about 9 hours, $2.4 million, which is insane. And it has been doing amazing. And I couldn't really figure it out. I had spoken to both Frank and Ash before, and I had realized they were very special people. But to do what they've done and what's going on now, and you can see the comments, Kyoto changing lives while saving the planet. First of all, I want to say congratulations. And second, I want to say, Frank, how the hell are you guys doing this in this type of market?
That's a good question. How are we doing it? I mean, look, we didn't really know, honestly, how the fair launch was going to go. I mean, we had some really good feedback running into it in terms of the community we were building and the vision that we wanted to put across. And we were doing daily AMAs in the build up between Telegram and Discord, trying to get as much of the community educated about outside of what we're doing in this rebase, right? But it went down to the wire. We weren't quite sure whether we would sell out or not. I think we've got a great vision. I think we've got a great protocol, that we're building now. And we've got some great partners, endorsed partnerships with some big hitters. Right. And I think, they believed in the model too, so I'm not going to be naive. I think we probably got some support from our partners there. But look, we're trying to do something different. And I think people are recognizing that.
Guys, also, please, this is going to be a great interview. Please smash that like button. It's really important that everybody gets to see this, because these guys are changing the world. This question right here, Kyoto changing lives while saving the planet. Is that true?
I don't know about saving lives. I think that's probably a bit far-fetched, Okay. I think, look, we're trying to make a difference to the planet. If you look at what the original Kyoto Protocol looked to do in 1997, it was the first piece of legislation that came about that tried to implement strategies to manage climate change. And it hasn't been successful. If you think that two things have to happen in order to, battle climate change, one is carbon credits, which is a carbon credit is essentially a commodity or a unit that is used to represent 1 ton or 1,000 kilograms of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Okay, so two things need to happen. Carbon credits need to be widely accessible, so that companies, which will be legislated to buy in order to offset and ultimately we change the planet, they need to be accessible for them to do it at scale. And two, we need to stop deforestation and we need to start replanting trees, nature-based solutions, rewilding land and trying to undo the damage that we've done. How are we trying to save the planet? Our protocol incorporates both of those measures. So while that's a pretty big claim to say, we're hoping to make a contribution.
How did you get so many institutional investors? Because the way you sold out was with a lot of big wallets when I was looking at it, and you had a lot of institutional investors come in behind you. Like, this is a rebase protocol. We've never seen this before. This is something that you guys are so different than everyone else. First, I want to know how you got the institutional investors in. And second, I just want a brief understanding of you guys' background, because this is looking very different than anything I've ever seen before in rebase world.
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. And I think we'll do an introduction of our backgrounds and we'll go into the investors. So my background, I come from Forex initially. I moved into cryptocurrency in 2016. When I first purchased my cryptocurrency, it was an investment, and then 2017, obviously the rise of cryptocurrency, it was a nice return. 2018, I decided to go into business with a group of friends to create a media outlet for cryptocurrency. We grew that organically to basically counter the FUD that was around in 2018, because Google started banning cryptocurrency adverts, Facebook started banning it, and that allowed me to work with a lot of the ICOs and STOs that you've seen in 2018. I helped them basically acquire cryptocurrency or liquidate cryptocurrency from the ICO sales also. And then that allowed me, after the media business kind of died down, as my kind of first venture with individuals in the crypto space. It allowed me to build a great network of people to kind of sell cryptocurrency to, or introduce people who were buying cryptocurrency.
Okay.
That's how I actually met Frank as well. So I met Frank by selling him cryptocurrency.
So you're a trader. You're like a legitimate Forex trader.
Yeah, well, do you know what? I don't trade Forex anymore.
Anymore.
Yeah, just solely cryptocurrency. I moved full time into cryptocurrency trading in 2018.
Why is that? You just think it's better, more money in it? Why was that move?
I don't need to leverage anymore. So, you know, with Forex, I was quite clever with how I used to leverage trades. So I used to mainly trade GBP USD and EUR USD, as well as some indices like the DAX, the German 30, and a few other assets. But yeah, trading is my background. That's how I met Frank. And in Bitcoin, obviously I had an OTC, which turned over a fair amount. It was probably introduced about $100 million worth of sales from to Bitcoin. And that was just myself and a couple business partners. We didn't have a website. We didn't have a shop front. And that was basically our network. That's how we grew out quite big. And I've tried it all with crypto. You know, I had Bitcoin ATMs. I had done property with Bitcoin, and then and actually the OTC was what pushed me into DeFi. So we were one of the first 100 companies in the UK to get temporary asset approval by the FCA, which was quite big for us because, you know, we were just guys selling coins, and it got too difficult to continue to run. So the legislation and what you had to do to keep afloat was just unbearable. So it was that pushed me more into DeFi because, you know, I didn't want to keep up. It's not that I didn't want to keep up with the regulation. It was too much of a headache, and I thought DeFi was the kingdom. But yeah, along that journey, I actually met Frank, and we've done multiple trades with other clients and partners as well. So yeah, Frank, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll give an overview because yes, you know, you're asking how we onboarded these people. Ash has got a great, you know, background. He sells himself very short there because this is all his idea, you know, looking at what's going on outside of the rebase, using DeFi to solve a real world issue. I think, you know, yes, he's got a very credible background, but it's also the fact that he's sort of put this idea together. And then I would say that, you know, we've got a really, really strong professional team that work alongside him. So, you know, how did we manage to, you know, bring on institutional people and get people like GDA Capital involved? You know, one, you've only have to put Ash in a room and, you know, pretty quick people realize about what our offering is. But two, we've got people based in finance that are backing us, that go out to investors. You know, one of our partners is FCA regulated, which is the Financial Conduct Authority here in the UK, which I guess is like the SEC if you're looking for a US counterparty. And he's very much involved in sustainables and building huge projects in Europe and, you know, solar, wind farms. So he's got a very, very credible background in business and within this sector. Our commercial officer has set up many companies, and he's got some really good technology firms he's been involved with in projects. We're all on the website. I mean, we have those relationships because we're all in business people. You know, I've set up several companies in the UK. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an investor. I invest my own money. I got involved in crypto in 2017. I think the first time I bought was 4K. Bought some on that run up, DCA, and then obviously we all know what happened. And, you know, I met Ash through buying blocks of coins from him.
Wow.
So, you know, yeah, that's how the story started. We both live in the same place. It's a very small place. Nobody could really speak about crypto or DeFi, and we just kept ringing each other and saying what projects you're involved in, and here we are. But to answer your question, we've got a really good, strong, professional team here. You know, we're not people that have seen a rebase model and thought, let's fork that, and we'll see how we do. You know, it actually came through Ash and I were discussing this business and what we should do, how we should integrate, what should we implement. And we were both in another rebase. And I said, wouldn't it be great if we just used that as the token distribution mechanic? That's how it happened. It was simply, right, we're going to mint these tokens. Why don't we reward early adopters or people that buy in a fair launch with a big bag of our layer 1 tokens? That's how this whole part with the rebates came about. So how do we get the investors in? Business relationships is the real short answer. Credible business relationships.
Because you guys have been in so many different businesses and you're a legitimate businessman, real world businessman, not in crypto. This is where it all came from, basically.
Correct.
Yeah. I think this is what a lot of people don't understand is you guys are trying to bridge. I think the narrative has been lost. You guys are trying to bridge the real world to crypto. That's really what you're trying to do. That's how I see it. Is that correct?
Yeah. So, when I got involved into cryptocurrency, the big issue was accessibility. You couldn't just go and buy Bitcoin from a shop. You had to go and either buy it from local Bitcoins, which is where I started out, or you could at the time purchase from Coinbase with just an email address. And then in the UK, you had to send the money to Estonia, and then you had to get it approved and then send back to Estonia. It was a pain.
That's kind of crazy.
And when I was, I came out of the OTC and I kind of stopped doing what I was doing with crypto. I looked at carbon credits and I just noticed that they have exactly the same issues as what Bitcoin had in 2016 and 17. And that's just accessibility and understanding. So, we are trying to connect two worlds, which is the carbon credit industry. And obviously,
so Ash, are you the next CZ? People are saying you're the next CZ.
I don't know about that.
Well, he was basically, look at him, right? He was 10 when he was doing that. he was buying Bitcoins from mines in Kazakhstan and selling them to businessmen when he was about 10.
I mean, this sounds insane, by the way, all of this.
Yeah, well, I was young when I was doing I used to liquidate Bitcoin miners in Kazakhstan. They couldn't pay their electric bills because they have to pay in Europe. And I would basically take the Bitcoin and then liquidate and pay them in their account in Europe. But I dropped out of school and went straight into crypto effectively.
I'm going to get in some of the tokenomics later, but I did see this question here. Well, not really a question. It says 15% burn in the first month equals super DeFi project. And hold on. Yes. So 15% burn in the first month.
Mm-hmm.
That's the plan, right?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, right?
I don't know how you're going to do it. It's been tough getting there, but you tell me.
Well, look, it's something Ash and I and the team discuss. We're at 3%. I think we've got 12% to go, and people saying how are we going to do it? Look, the truth is there's lots of different options. If you look at the rebase, we can use funds outside of the protocol for one. We can use funds or tokens within the protocol. We probably will do a combination. We'll get there. We'll get to 15% and they'll be in the burn pit. But believe me, I don't want to say too much because we're planning a lot of things. We only got our CertiK KYC and our CertiK audit back yesterday. And that held us back on a lot of the marketing because we couldn't list on some of the major marketing platforms because they wanted to see the KYC audit. So we had a 10-day limbo. We're just getting into high gear now. So how are we going to do it? I don't really want to say because just know that we will get there. And the reason that we're doing it is because we had a business plan that, we use Phantom as a model to all of the community all the time. If you look at the layer 1 that we're looking to build in terms of tokenomics, Phantom is about where we see it in terms of circulating or total supply. If we left the rebase and we turn it off at the end of 12 minutes, there'll be about 2.9 billion tokens. We worked out that we needed to burn 20% in order to get to the 2.4, 2.5 mark. I think it's about 2.4 circa. So we're going to burn those tokens in the first month so that when we migrate, we've got an idea of what our token supply was. So it's pretty well thought out. And, it's something that we're going to commit to.
So definitely don't forget, I like this comment. Don't forget to smash the like button. It'll get all the rest of YouTube coming over here, which is what we want. So this is, I wanted to ask you something. Like when you guys did an APY, you have a really high APY.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about 2.5% a day. First, why such a high APY? What was the reasoning behind that?
So that was just for the token distribution model. You know, it's we could have went for, you know, a lower APY similar to other rebase protocols, but to get to where we want with the tokenomics, we opted for a different rebase smart contract. So that's why the APY is high. Obviously, the taxes are slightly higher to sustain the daily APY, and obviously that incentivizes people to hold. But yeah, the APY itself is more of a mechanism to reward for the layer one token distribution.
So this is one thing people don't understand. You guys will become a layer one once all the 2 point something billion tokens are given out. Is that the concept? This is like a Genesis pool for a layer one is what we would call it, right? Is that the idea?
Yeah, exactly. So after 12 months, we switched to rebase token, the contract off on the rebase, and then we will basically offer a mirror solution. So you'll be able to mirror all of the tokens that you earn during this phase, and then you'll be able to claim our layer one token. So
do you become deflationary?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So this is the vision that I think people don't understand. You run for 12 months. This is a Genesis pool. This becomes an actual layer one, a real layer one, right? Like it's going to be like its own system and setup. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'm going to own part of this layer one, which is going to become deflationary and be part of a ecosystem of basically climate change marketplace. Am I there?
Yeah.
Let's go back, right?
Okay.
How are we saving the planet?
Okay, let's hear it.
Two things that need to happen, right? I said, one is carbon credits need to be widely accessible so people can offset at scale. Two is we need to stop deforestation. We need to start using nature-based solutions to regenerate the planet, okay? Key part of that in terms of how we're building this out, because, you know, I know a lot of the people watching this are saying, well, you know, how does this apply to us? This is a rebase. Okay, so outside of the rebase, the business strategy that we've chosen to use to help make carbon credits more accessible is by taking carbon credits, making a synthetically wrapped asset or commodity, called KYCR, Kyoto Credit, that we will then use to trade on. We call it a DEX. It's essentially not a DEX, but it's a marketplace. But when we say DEX, people have a vision of what it will entail: buy, swap, you know, trade. All of those things that the DEX would do. Now, where you have a commercial team, and we've been successful so far with partnering with other layer one protocols or blockchains. So we have the biggest and most notable at the moment is Near Protocol. They're a real top firm. We're in, you know, we've got Kudos, we've got Rubik's, we've got, I've got to be careful which ones are released and which aren't. There's a lot, and we're actually in talks with some really, really big chains. And you know, I think if we get these over the line and they're released, people will just, you know, be so bullish. Okay, so we're going to build these marketplaces on multiple chains. Yeah, so one here on Near, one here on Kudos, one here on, it could be any chain, your favorite chain. We release these credits onto these marketplaces, allowing them to be more accessible. What we'll have is essentially a swap function, which everybody uses on Pancake or Spooky or any of them, of Sushi, Uni, any of those. Then we'll have a farming mechanism where you can farm tokens, of which this is in the works at the moment about how we'll incorporate Kyoto token into that, but you'll be able to swap. And when we release the first DEX and the rest of them, we will put KYCR on there. So that's solving the how does it become more accessible. So from 90 days, you'll see this, and you can use these protocols. You'll see the ecosystem that we're building out. We're already in talks and signing the documents at the moment with one of our partners about building our layer one. That will be live within 11 and a half months. And that will become a layer one for refi-based projects. So refi is DeFi, but using the angle of regenerating the planet, right? Regenerative finance. So we're a refi project. We want our layer one to become the layer one that all refi projects choose to build on. So rather than them be scattered, we're on BSC, we might have been on Aurora, I know we were in talks to you. We'll have Kyoto Protocol sat there, and we'll have a layer 1 where people will come and build on our project, of which the tokens you're accumulating will be the gas token, and there'll be incentives for that token within our own ecosystem, right? So, you can farm it. There'll be ways that we've got lots of strategies about how we're going to add buyer pressure to our own token on our own layer 1. So that's what's going on outside of the rebase. You will start to see, and it's on our website with the roadmap, we're building the first marketplace on there. Then we're going to roll out onto ERC20 based chains, and then we're going to make multiple of those, which all generate revenue, which all sell carbon credits. And then whilst we're doing that, we're building our layer 1 in the background, which that ultimately becomes the holding company of all of these marketplaces. And we're hoping that by having this strategy, we bring carbon credits onto the market, make them widely accessible, and allow people on every chain to offset. Not only that, but the reason why we're being so successful in securing these partnerships is because let's take NEAR, for example, they can provide liquidity to our marketplace on their chain, and they receive KYCR back in return. So they are offsetting, and they're already carbon neutral. I think they might even be carbon negative. So all of these, so how on trend is it for blockchains to say we're carbon negative, we're carbon neutral, we're not like Bitcoin, we don't use mass energy consumption, we're not a big emitter, we're cleaning our chain up. Kyoto builds on their chain, allows them to offset through the trading that goes on their platform. Hence why we're having success in partnering with these layer 1s, because they want to be greener. So that's a little bit about what's going on outside of the rebase, how we're generating revenue, what we're looking to build.
I'm now impressed. Now I get it. You see, I didn't get it. This is why we got to do these AMAs, guys. What he just said was so important. I mean, you're basically helping these layer 1s who are energy emitted, like they just suck so much energy, become carbon neutral, basically. That's what you're trying to do, right?
But not only that, let me add this in.
Okay.
So why do we love DeFi? You get to get an asset, stable coin, or your favorite token. You get to put that into a liquidity pool, yield farm, and provide a reward in return. So you can stable side, single side state, get a yield back, farm that at these rates, buying ETH, buying whatever coin you choose to buy, or fund a new DeFi platform. Now, what if you took that concept and then you approached in real life company that have obligations or legislation dictates that they must offset the damage they do to the environment. And you said to them, come to us with your fiat currency and pledge this capital, i.e. provide liquidity, and we will give you carbon credits in return. Now, you don't spend that money. You get to lock it through DeFi in a high growth market and offset for little to no cost. That's Kyoto's offering to the real world. So what's the alternative? The alternative would be I go to another company, give them 10 million and they plant trees and I never see that money. Or give it to Kyoto, we lock it 1 year, 2, 3 years, 5 years, whatever it may be. We pledge to offset you through a DeFi protocol. And at the end of that term, you get your capital back. So we're using DeFi to offset in real life companies, Web 2.
There's stuff in DeFi you can do, you just can't do anywhere else. So I imagine this is why you did a rebase token. That makes more sense now, right?
Well, obviously the rebase is like one aspect of it, but DeFi in general. So like Frank and I, we've been down the rabbit hole in DeFi for a long time. And, we started off on like yield optimizers on the Phantom network. And, what we learned there is you could provide liquidity in different cryptocurrencies and you would yield, the native token of the yield optimizer. Obviously the biggest one being Beefy Finance, but we went degen rabbit holes that we probably shouldn't have, and we realized that you yield farm a token that is really worthless. So what we've done is we've taken the concept of a yield optimizer and effectively giving you a token that has a tangible value that's not dictated by buy pressure, because obviously a carbon credit has tangible value.
Got it. Got it. My other question, really most important one, I think a lot of people want to know about, it's about the money aspect here. You guys got, I believe, did you guys get $25 million to help you fund your operations from VCs, correct?
So we're currently going through a raise right now, which is a total of 25 million. So obviously we've got partners that are assisting in the raise, and we're currently going through that process. We wanted to get the fair launch out the way first to ensure that there's something there to go for a raise. But yeah, that's currently in progress as we speak.
How is that going for you guys so far?
Yeah, I would say it's going pretty well.
Okay, great. So what would you do when you get this $25 million? Is this going to be part of Kyoto Protocol? Is it going to be like a Kyoto Foundation that's going to back it up? I'm a little confused about how that'll be.
So the way that we'd utilize the funds effectively is by having protocol liquidity across different protocols. So if you look at like NEAR, for example, if you look at stable coins as well, we're not looking to basically burn the whole pot. We want to make sure that this is a war chest that we can use for the future. So say, for example, you can yield between 6 and 11% on stables. We would put a proportionate amount across into stables to ensure that we maintain the burn rate of our company. We are hoping that the layer 1 blockchain is basically going to be covered prior to the raise anyway. But with that being said, the 25 million is not just going to be spent, is going to be used to assist and support Kyoto as a token, our network, and ensure that we have liquidity for the day.
I mean, that is a lot of money. If you guys raise $25 million, I mean, whoa. I mean, to back up this protocol, I mean, it's unheard of. It's just unheard of.
Yeah, so I would say, like, obviously in the rebase world, yes. But for example, our partners NEAR, post ICO, I think they raised $350 million. And that's away from a raise. That's after their token's been floating. So crypto is definitely possible. I don't think 25 million is a lot of money to raise for a product like ours. So I don't think we'll have many issues.
Can you did you guys get a NEAR grant also? Was there any NEAR grants that you guys got?
Yeah, so we received a grant from NEAR for our first marketplace. And we're obviously be marketing the marketplace through the NEAR channels in the run up, which is very, very soon now.
How much did you get from NEAR, if you can make it public?
I'll ask Frank, because I always get told off of it.
I don't know if we can make it.
Okay. Was it a lot?
Not that I don't want to share. You can ask anyone in our community. We overshare. In fact, Ash does all the time. But I just need to make sure that I don't know what the terms of the document were.
Got it. Can I just ask one question? Was it a lot of money?
It was enough money.
It was enough money.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you say you're going to use funds outside of the protocol, you already have other funds, it looks like.
Well, look, outside of the protocol, what we mean is when we say that is all of the core team, we used our own money to get us to where we are now, right? So essentially funds outside of the protocol. When we say outside of the protocol, we mean the rebase. Okay, so we could use the raise. We could sign the raise in 8 weeks, or start putting it together depending on market conditions. It might take longer, but I'm just picking that number out of the air. We could take 1 million of that and pump it straight through the protocol to buy tokens back for us on the layer 1, right? So when we say that there's money outside of the protocol, we've also got an obligation to build about 6 DEXs or marketplaces already that will generate fees through selling of carbon credits, farming, liquidity, which is outside of the rebase, that we can take those funds and support the protocol. So yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot going on. I understand that, but we won't need to touch the revenue, hopefully, that's locked within inside the initial protocol.
Maverick asked a great question. First carbon credit DEX coming soon. We got a date on that?
It's going to be 3 months from launch. We're typically 11 days in. So what's that? 79 days. 79 days. We've made really, really good progress in terms of planning it out, mapping it out. The build time we're not worried about. It's going to be the testing it, making sure that it works. And it might not be, you know, I don't want to use the word minimal viable product, but it might be that there's key functions on there to get it to meet that deadline, and we build out around that. Look, DK, you understand DeFi. You know, getting things right is more important than launching. You know, more haste, less waste, and we're certainly trying to make sure it's working before we release it.
This carbon credit DEX is the utility that everyone loves from you guys. This has a potential of being like, how much volume do you think can come through this carbon credit DEX? What do you see the possibilities being here?
Good question.
I'll go on, Ash.
No, well, look, I'll let you go first, Frank.
Truth be told, we're not going to know until we launch it, right? I think we're business people. We've built out a valuation and a business plan based upon all of the marketplaces that we build. We've used a very conservative figure, which makes sense to do. I honestly believe that when we build on there, and I wouldn't be in this business if I didn't believe this, we want to be and compete with being one of the leading marketplaces or DEXs on that chain. And we have to take that expectation or that goal to every chain that we build on. How much volume will we get through that? I don't know.
You don't know yet. Okay.
The carbon credit market is massive. It's massive. But it's not even, Ash always says this, right? Go and try and buy a carbon credit today after you finish this interview and see how you can do it. Using Web3 will make the purchase of carbon credits. You can do it in 2 clicks through Web3. So we're making it not only accessible, but we're making it efficient too. It's hard to gauge because obviously we've got to have the adoption. But we're incredibly bullish on taking 2 huge markets, DeFi and carbon credits, and integrating them to be super successful. And I think that if the volume will come because legislation is coming. That's legislated, government legislated buy pressure on the carbon credit market means government legislated buy pressure on KYCR token. So it's bullish. I think we're going to hit numbers. I don't want to commit to anything. Ash, do you want to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to add a bit of like a macro scope to it as well. It's like, you know, carbon credits as an asset, they're bullish. So in terms of like volume and how it benefits our ecosystem, if you look at cryptocurrency, the dip that we had yesterday, and now it's subsequently is recovered. There's an aspect there where you can carbon up. You can go into a different asset that's not a stable token. So yeah, I was just kind of wanted to give that aspect to it. And obviously, Near Protocol, we mentioned that they raised 350 million. That was to invest on businesses building on chain. So each of these blockchains that you see nowadays, I know it's NFT marketplaces, there's a lot of businesses that are all on chain, but real businesses are coming and they will be building on those chains. And those real businesses will try and take advantage of that social economic incentive to be green, to offset, and to do that, they can do that on our marketplace. So yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Frank.
I was just going to say, when we were talking about this, I remember thinking that, stablecoin was the biggest thing for DeFi, really, wasn't it? All crypto allows you to de-risk, come out, hold a safe asset. I think that tokenized or synthetic carbon credits will be the next big thing for DeFi. I believe it. I believe that, you can come out and hold a stable coin, or you can hold synthetic carbon credit like Asset Carbon Up, but that asset won't just hold value, it can appreciate in 12 months. So I think there's a big play for crypto and DeFi just on that alone.
People in crypto, people in DeFi, we invest because we're trying to make those crazy gains, that crazy amount of money. And obviously your investors from day one have made crazy amounts of money. It looks like many of your holders are very close to a 3x or 2.5x from the initial public price. What I'm hearing here is this is just the start versus, like it sounds like the market you're about to bring to everybody is so much bigger than crypto. Am I wrong in this?
It actually is.
Yeah. So if the market grew the same rate as it did last year, the carbon credit industry, that is, it would grow bigger than cryptocurrency.
That's the thing. It's insane. And if you guys are going to be in the middle of it, is what you're trying to place yourselves. Is that the vision, to put yourselves in the middle of this multi-trillion, multi-billion-dollar market and have all of this revolve around you? This is the vision, right?
That's the vision. And we've got the team to execute that vision. You know, Ash said something to me. He came around, you know, we live close to each other. He comes to my house. He sat down and he said to me, Frank, you know, bearing in mind he was selling coins when he was 10. I just say that because he's just young. But he said I was a year late to build a centralized exchange. You know, I could have done it. He could have built it. With this, I'm a year early. You know, we're priming ourselves to be in that, fill that void, be in position. You know, that's why we launched in the worst market conditions. You know, we could have waited for better market conditions, but then when the legislation comes in, we wouldn't have everything that we're building built.
We want to be ready.
We wouldn't be ready. So by us jumping in, rolling our sleeves up and saying, right, it's bad market, let's go, we'll be ready when we need to be ready for the carbon credit industry.
Maverick, another great question. Many more partnerships in the pipeline. Is there any that you could tell us that would be coming that would be interesting to hear?
Yeah, there's always partnerships in the pipeline. We've got a commercial team. We've got 4 people whose sole jobs is to get us these partnerships. We've got a guy in Dubai, 3 in the UK, and that's what they do. They're just find it. And actually, more partnerships in the pipeline. We've got the reverse now. We think that we're going to have such great uptake with the offering that we're giving that we're probably going to scale back and not build so many DEXs in the first 12 months. But
how many people? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Ash, did you have something?
That was a good answer, Frank, because I'm mindful of talking specifics.
Yeah.
How many people are on your team? Like total team, everyone, including mods, everything. Bring it all in.
Cool, including mods.
Yeah, everything.
That's a good question. I don't know the answer.
It's so many, I can't give you a quick answer.
All right. At least 20 people?
More than that.
What?
More. Well, we've got just said 4 in the commercial team, CFO, Ash and I. You know, we've got marketing, there's the mods. We've got loads of mods. I don't even know how many we've got. So shout out to the mods, by the way. We've got a great team.
You guys have good mods, yes.
Yeah, we do.
What about the team that is building the devs? You have your own devs, or you're outsourcing that?
So we've got, if you look into our partnerships, you see that we've got a partnership with Accubits. They're a specialist technology provider. They've worked with the likes of like NASA all the way to other companies within the blockchain. That's who we're predominantly using, but we are going to be bringing in an internal team. We're currently headhunting a blue blood CTO, which will basically run or oversee the building of what we're doing too. So right now it's outsourced with our partners, but we are going to be expanding the team. But as you can tell, our team's relatively large right now, and we're just kind of organizing everything.
So it looks like Funny Donald, he says, I'm a big fan of their accents. Just take my money already. Can you tell us where you guys are from?
Yeah, well, from the UK. Frank and I were from the south of the UK.
Okay, south of the UK. There you go, Funny Donald. You happy? I will. Okay, Discord link. I'll get you guys. I thought I had it in it. It should be the Discord link. Should be in the description. It should be in the description. Merca money. So go check out the description. Why do I smell money in here? Well, it's because they're doing really well. That's why you smell it. And I think the vision now makes more sense to me. I hope you guys out there understand what they're trying to do. If you have any more questions, please keep them coming. The vision here, it's a lot bigger than DeFi, and it's a lot bigger than crypto, which is refreshing in a way. You're not just trying to take from what's already here. You're trying to build something that's a lot bigger than it all, and that is rare. So I appreciate you guys for doing this in DeFi. I think we can all learn a lot from you guys.
So I think, I think it's the other way around, because I'm a bit of a martyr for cryptocurrency. I think that blockchain technology and crypto in general is bigger than most industries out there, but they just don't know it yet. In terms of blockchain integration and how we see the future, that's going to be completely different in 5 years' time. You look at, I've got a younger brother who does completely different social media to what I'm ever used to, and generations are changing and technology is as well. So I would say that these industries that we're trying to tackle, they'll be accelerated via blockchain and crypto. So I sit on the cryptocurrency side, but yeah, that's a good point.
When you guys launched, you only had about 700 holders from day one. You've grown it over 1,100 now. What's going on? How are your holder base? How is it increasing? What are you guys doing behind the team? Is your message getting out? What are you guys seeing that's happening?
Yeah, we've thought out our marketing strategy very carefully. We've hired a tier 1 marketing firm that built what we believe to be the right brand and give us the right look and feel, so that when people see, we wanted to look tier 1. We got our money where our mouth is and spent a lot of money on branding prior to launch. I think we've just got a great message, and I think that we haven't overinflated those numbers. They're genuine. We don't plan to airdrop any dust to overinflate that. Whatever we've got, we've got. And I think that slowly but surely people are starting to learn about it. We're trying everything in our marketing mix. I'm 43, and I've signed off on a TikTok marketing campaign. I don't understand it, but we're willing to put money and resources into building our brand awareness, and the team and the community see that. We're with you. I've watched your videos for a long time. We've discussed that. I think I've done I did a huge buy on Pulse Dow and got rubbed. We'll have to talk about that another day. I remember that video. Made me throw up. But yeah, I mean, look, we're big in the space. We're putting money out and we're doing what we need to do. And people are slowly learning about the protocol. And then they learn that we're not just another rebase trying to do the same things. And I think that they feel more secure in what we're offering. Maybe it could be. I don't know.
Will people be able to, like on your carbon offerings, is it going to be like one token, or is it going to be like a different type of tokens, a blended kind of token of different type of carbon credits? How will that even work?
So KYCR right now, to simplify it, is Kyoto credit, but it will move into the asset class. Effectively, if you do your research on carbon credits, you'll realize that there's many different carbon credits, and each different carbon credit has a different value. Without trying to confuse people. So what we'll be doing is integrating, say, 3 of the best onto our dexes, which will then allow more of a trading environment, because bear in mind, trading volume on the marketplaces, that's what kind of generates revenue. So maybe, one carbon credit will be a higher price than the other, and you might be able to trade or make an opportunity between the two. So yeah, KYCR will initially be 1 carbon credit standard, which we'll be releasing in the coming weeks. And then as we roll out the dexes, we're hoping to integrate more carbon credit standard classes. So you have, carbon credits that specialize in, say, preservation, and then you have carbon credits that specialize in renewable energy. Then you have different compliance standards. So it's quite a broad market, and what we're trying to do is simplify it to start off with, and then once the asset's there and it's understood by our community, we're going to integrate different trading environments to boost that revenue for our Kyoto holders effectively.
Yeah, I brought up your bonks here because he did a 10-hour video breakdown of you guys.
Longer than the Godfather movie.
It was a mini series. Your bonks. If your bonks, you want to come up here, he's the expert. I'll send you the link. Come up here, man. Like, holy cow.
When he rang, I remember when we did a call with Yar Bonks before the video, and he was like, "Listen, I go mega deep." I didn't know how deep. This guy, you know, if you're going to make an investment, get this guy to look at it for you. I mean, he's insane the amount of detail he goes into. He jumped in we do a daily AMA, you know, like I said, Telegram or Discord. He jumped in them. They went on for hours for about 3 days, asking us every variable of every question. And he put together a really great video. And I remember saying to him, look, we welcome scrutiny. And he took it to pieces. And he came back and he said, yeah, he's sold. He'll tell you. He's
Oh no, I spoke to him a lot before he did the video. I spoke to him a lot after he did the video, and we went back and forth. And it was just so interesting because you do have a complicated project, but like now we have a kind of a roadmap. Now I really understand where it's all the parts and pieces are gonna fall into. So it takes a minute to understand it, and I understand why he took this long. It's a lot. It's a lot to understand because it's never been done before.
No, not like this. I don't think. No,
it's never been done. No. It's never been done. So, you know, I'd just like to congratulate you guys for if this is going to be a success. Your layer one, your rebase token, until it becomes a layer one, has so much more potential than I think people can realize. Like,
yeah, and look, I say this on a few of the AMAs now, and I'd like to give this overview if you'd indulge me for a moment. About
let's hear it.
We get asked all the time how we're going to be different, right? Because you know how rebases work. You're the Dao King, right? So
I know how they work.
Yeah, but you're going to see a big price depreciation on the chart, and then people take profit, goes down, and they just grind out.
That's right.
What we're trying to do is educate people that, all of this that we've described on the video comes after 12 months. We'll do that with our raise, with our partnerships. That will be built whether people pump and dump or not. What we're trying to do is, and why do people want to do that, is because there's a time now when you get a good investment on your initial win on fair launch that you can take it out with a double up in a month, double your tokens, triple your price, 6x out, pay tax. Why do people do that? Well, because after a while, it hyperinflates. You get left with a big bag of tokens with little to no value, and people feel that they need to take the right time to take advantage of the opportunity and take their money out. Now, people will still do that with us. We're not naive to that, but where we're different is, these layer one tokens, even if on the valuation they were worth 25 cents at the end. And the reason why I always like to say that we pick that number is because if we put our figures together for an investment based on $3, $4, $5, the numbers were just ridiculous. So we took it right down to 25 cents. If you bought on fair launch, no tax, held to the end, migrate across with no tax. If we were at 25 cents, you'd still make $2,000 a token, I think it was, but $2,000 each token you buy, rather. So if you add that, that's still a really great return on your money if you hold the 12 months. We know it's not going to be a plain sailing. It's going to be a rocky ride because that's what rebases do.
Rebase tokens are tough, yeah.
But we have that strategy in how we're different. And we will take money out from our external revenues to support that. People that sell the tokens will buy them back because we believe in the project. We'll be able to keep the price stable. And, we're actually got a lot of discussions with VCs that want an allocation of tokens. You can't find them at the moment.
Got to buy them.
400,000 in circulation. But later on down the line, when that inflates, we can start to scoop those tokens out from people that do that and reward our VCs that come in and invest in the project. So we're very much trying to get people to see that even if you buy and have, yes, you might lose a real quick way to make money, but you'll miss out on what we've just described on the AMA and being a big part of that.
Will the taxes go away when you go become a layer one?
Absolutely.
Yeah, there'll be no taxes when we go over to layer one, and a micro amount of the transactional of each transaction on our layer one will burn Kyoto too.
Man, it's going to be so interesting when you guys convert to a layer one. Like, I just wish we could go fast forward 12 months. Like,
Why?
Well, look, listen. I mean, I don't want to look. Listen, we're on with you. So we say 12 months, but I've been doing talks with our partner about the layer one, and it might be built sooner than that. Whether we depending on tokens, we might not be able to migrate over early, but it might not be a 12-month wait. You know,
might not be. And what is the fire pit? Like, I know it's 15% is your goal to burn in the first 30 days, but what is your overall goal by, you know, day 365 before you become a layer one? What will be?
Well,
what would you like to see it?
I was talking. I actually had a concern about, you know, committing on videos that we were going
absolutely
to
no commitment here. We just
no. We have committed. We have committed. I just want to give you my thought process. You know, we were committing to 15%, and we were like, okay, well, what does that look like at the end? What if 15% is 60%? You know, you get what I'm saying. What does that look like at the end? But I went through it with the CFO, and that 15% will accumulate 15% of tokens, regardless of what the token value is at the end. It will be 15%. So if we burn them now, we'll just take 15% out of supply. Fact check me if I'm wrong, by the way, people watching this. I'm sure you'll love to let me know in our Telegram. But I was concerned that we were going to say 15%, and then actually when we migrate, we might have too few tokens in circulation. But I think that we should be at around, and we don't know on volume as well. The only variable we can't plan for and account for is if we were to have insane volume, we can't, and we've got a 3% buy and sell tax on the burn side. We don't know what that would be. We could say 3%, but it could be 3% of what? So that's the only variable that we can't foresee. When we come to 12 months, are we going to be at 2 billion tokens, 2.4, 2.5? We don't know. We just got a rough idea of how many tokens we need to migrate over with, and we'll be monitoring it throughout to see that we're in good shape, ready for layer one.
What has been the response you've got from your success from the VCs? Have they just gone like, wow, this is amazing? Because they don't really understand rebase protocols. I can just imagine you being in front of a VC going, this token is going to get 2.5% more every day. Do they go, what the hell is this? Or are they like,
no, they don't see, they see well beyond the rebase. I don't think
they do.
They're not going to sell their tokens. You know, they're locked. Actually, only some of the VCs and our partners bought in at fair launch with everybody else. There was no pre-sale of tokens, no initial offerings, no seed round, nothing like that. It was funded by us. They won't even look at the percentage. They're just going to migrate over with their tokens. What do they say? I've got a good answer for you. Michael Gord, the head of GDA Capital, was in our Telegram the other day. He came in for an AMA, and he also occasionally pops in and chats, just says hello, what's going on. Community love it. They engage with him. He said he didn't think that, and I don't want to hold anyone to this, and I'm not saying this, but you're saying, what do they think? He said that he thought with the two markets, 10B market cap wouldn't be impossible.
10 billion. Whoa. Is Michael Gord, do you know his net worth? What's Mr. Gord's net worth? Anyone out there?
I don't know.
Anybody out there? Give me, I want to see what Mr. Gord's net worth is, because this could get very interesting, because he is backing you guys up, right? He's a big backer of you guys.
He's on the court. He's in the team, and he's on our website. He's a
big deal.
Yeah, it's a massive deal. You know, that again, you say, how have we done this? What, you know, one, we've got a great idea. Two, we've got a great team. Michael's a huge part of that.
He's also, you know, he's an asset to how we're rolling out our partnerships with blockchains. Obviously, he's worked with them very closely. A few months back, I think he hosted Fashion Week in Decentraland on his land that he had there. And, you know, in terms of, you know, network, I suppose cryptocurrency, there's such, you look, if you're a project owner, you wake up to 1,000 messages saying proposals, I've got this, can you do that? With blockchains, you have to have a warm introduction, or you have to go through all of the processes. And to be honest, the processes with most blockchains is relatively slow. So, you know, it's good to have a warm introduction. And people know that what we're not just a high APY product with a vision that's baked.
Yeah, and as far as your layer 1 is going to come out, is there going to be any technology on it that's different than what's already out there, or is it just going to be another EVM, or like what do you guys have kind of planned for that? Anything you can give us? I know it's still very early, but is there anything out there that you can give us?
So it's going to be proof of stake. It'll be posed as a proof of stake authority. Effectively, we're not going to try and reinvent the wheel. What Kyoto Protocol's layer 1 blockchain is about is effectively becoming the hub for ESG focused protocols and projects. So taking it back to our conversation about yield optimizers, right? Let's say you're a charity and you're now taking donations in the magnitude of different cryptocurrencies. Now, if you hold those cryptocurrencies and you pledge liquidity on your own branded yield optimizer, where you as an individual, if you have an interest in animal preservation or, taking plastic out the ocean or planting trees, you can come in and pledge your liquidity directly onto these yield optimizers that are set up. We hope to have someone like Greenpeace, for example, that would have their own branded yield optimizer that we would set up for them. So in terms of new technology, it's we've got partners that have got amazing technology. For example, they're the first ones to integrate sharding. Do we need to do that for the technology and the proposal that we're trying to do? Probably not. But will the network sustain the traffic, the volume, and keep up with everyone else? Absolutely. Yeah. And in terms of technology, we'll be releasing that in due course, and obviously we're in talks with our partners, which they could build us anything we want.
Interesting, guys. Is there any other questions out there we got? This is definitely, this is very different. I'm really glad you guys came on. I don't really have any more questions. You guys, damn, you took care of my questions. Easy peasy. You guys are experienced, let me tell you, because I thought some of these were going to be pretty hard, but you guys are real deal, man. It's good to see. I'm really happy. Is there any other questions out there, guys? Let's see. No more questions. You guys got through it all very well. But is there anything else you guys wanted to bring up before we got going here?
Yeah, I'd like to just say, we one thing that we did in the build up to fair launch, and one thing that we've continued to do is the daily drop in 6 p.m. UTC. It's either on Discord or Telegram. We alternate between the two because we've got two very different communities. If you've watched this, if you want to learn more, I'd welcome you in. We'd love to speak with you. And we can, answer any questions directly. If you want to know more about the project, Ashai or someone in the core team are on every evening. So they run about an hour, but just drop in, ask your question, and we'll go through it like we've done today.
Can you explain, can they quickly explain how they bring carbon credits on chain?
Okay, that's a good question. So similar to the Paxos model, if you're familiar with BUSD, for example, how that's, you have $1 in an account and you have $1 represented on chain. That's how we bring carbon credits on. So what we would do is acquire carbon credits as the foundation. And then when the foundation has the carbon credits, we go to a tier 1 law firm or an accountancy firm. That accountancy firm will basically ascertain what we hold, and then we will mint the KYCR on chain. And then when you as a user want to offset your carbon emissions, you burn the KYCR. Once you've burnt the KYCR, we remove that and expend that from our inventory also. So effectively, you use the foundation as a transparency window for the carbon credits we bring on. It's not too hard to mint, a token.
Your boss told me this a while ago, and he's posted it here. Not the kind of project or team we're used to dealing with DeFi these days. Am I right? Yes, you are right, your bonks. Yes, we talked about it, and I was like, yeah. This one's a really interesting question. DK, this might be a bit personal, but have you invested in Coyote, or you're investing in after this AMA? Well, I just like to say, how do you know I'm not invested already? Number one. Number two, yes. I don't usually, on the AMAs, I try to stay impartial, but I've talked to these, both Ash and Frank before, so I already knew it was going to be a good project. The questions and the vision that you're seeing here, For me, yes, I'm going to wait for a dip, but I just don't see that dip coming. And my question is why? Usually rebase tokens start to dip. And I was waiting for you guys to dip a little bit, but to grab some shares.
I think that dip hasn't come because we had that 10-day delay waiting for certi KYC, and everybody's been sat waiting and they've held. I think we're going to continue to see a pump roll. Yeah, I mean, look, maybe there might be a dip in the future, but it's not coming anytime soon, I don't think.
It doesn't look like it. I mean, so yes, I will be buying some DCA in, as they say, dollar coin. So, you know, with rebase tokens, like Frank was saying earlier, they are wild creatures. So, but it's not something I want to miss. The numbers you guys are dealing with are huge for crypto. Like there is no comparison. You know, if you guys execute this, there is no comparison what is out there, guys. And also keep in mind, we're just having a discussion. It's not financial advice. So, you know, you guys have to do your own research and figure all this stuff out yourself. I'm glad a lot of you guys stuck around with us. I got tons of texts, by the way, just talking to you guys right now from a lot of people asking questions, but I'm like, ask them here. So
yeah, we've built this on transparency and being open and honest with the community. You know, we haven't swerved any question. We don't intend to start now. You know, we're accessible. We don't, you know, I'm always in the Discord, you know, I'm always on Telegram, you know, if people want to ask anything with, and, you know, you can talk to us on the AMA, on our daily drop-in, our daily VC. You can ask us anything at all. You know, we just sit there and say any questions, and it doesn't matter what comes up. We run through it. We give updates on what we're doing that day, what our plans are, what we're doing for marketing. You know, everybody knows what our plans are, what we're putting into it, what resources we're allocating. We've been an open book, really, in that regard.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. I appreciate you guys giving your time and explaining things. And, you know, I definitely want to see where this evolves and give you guys some more coverage in the future too, because we need more projects and more teams like you guys. That's just being real.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys, we're going to get off here. Thank you guys for joining us. It's been pretty cool. And take care, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.